Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Vlad and I help founders launch a startup and raise SCIS and EIS capital. On this channel, we'll explore what it takes to launch a startup in 2024 and how you can do the same. In this particular video, I'm going to walk you through the most common mistakes that founders make when they're thinking about launching their first startup. Most of us are thinking about launching a business, or at least thought about it once, whether while you are at university or you're working 9 to 5, whether you're 20 years old or 30 years old or 40 or 50, doesn't matter. At least once in a while we think about, oh, I want to launch a business. And the first thing that usually everybody thinks is, what idea should I have for my business? After, let's say, assume you have come up with an idea, you then think about the company name. And also, if you cannot think of your company name for your first company in a day, that's already wasting the most valuable resource, which is your time. So, once you, let's say, have chosen a company name, the next thing that most people do, most founders, is they go and register a company. Well, luckily, where I live in the UK, registering a company is a pretty straightforward process, not like in other jurisdictions. And it only costs now £50, where before it used to be £14. So how do you register a company? You go to Companies House. For those who don't know, Companies House is a public register that is run by the British government, which stores all the information about limited companies, public companies, and charities. And similar to how you can check information about public companies around the world, you can do the same with Companies House in the UK. And luckily, other jurisdictions are adopting the same standards for limited companies, because some time ago, most of jurisdictions, you wouldn't be able to find information about limited companies. And also, in the UK, it's, as I said just earlier, it's pretty straightforward. It takes about 15 minutes, and you don't really need a lawyer. If this is your, again, first company, you just go to Companies House. You can Google Companies House, register a company, follow the instruction, and within usually 24 hours, your company is registered. You can then go to Companies House, type your company name, and you will see the confirmation that the company has been registered. In comparison, in other jurisdictions like, for example, Germany or Dubai, it costs on average about £2,000 to £3,000 to register a limited company, depending on the complexity. And the price can go even higher. Thankfully, in the UK, the process is pretty much straightforward and simple, and in most cases, you do not need a lawyer to register a company compared to other jurisdictions. That is because most of public information in the UK that is published by the government is written in plain English. And I cannot tell the same about other jurisdictions. For example, in the United States, it also costs quite a bit to register a company. And if you going to check some of the documents that the government publishes or the legislations, they're more often written in such an English that is hard to grasp, because they use a lot of technical jargons which then mostly solicitors are only aware of. And again, in the UK, we don't have it, which is really, really great. So, you registered the company, right? After you come up with a company name, and this is usually what, again, everybody is doing, and then you can go and open a bank account. Again, in the UK, it's very straightforward and easy to open a bank account for your company compared to other countries. You can pretty much open it within 2 minutes. So, after you open your bank account, the next thing that founders usually do, and they create a website. And this is the completely wrong approach. Do not do this. And why do usually people do this? Founders, when they're just starting their business, is because we like to tick things off from to-do lists. And it is pretty simple to register a company, think of a name, open a bank account, build a quick website, especially these days, and you kind of feel, oh, you're moving in the right direction. But in fact, it is absolutely the wrongdoing. When you are thinking about starting your first company, you shouldn't do none of this as a first step, because this will cost you money down the line. Even though it is easy to register a company in the UK, it is a lot harder to close it down. And in the next video, maybe not the next one, but in some videos, I'm going to show you how to do it. If you have already registered the company and you are thinking to close it, instead of paying a solicitor, which is about to close a company, make it dormant for sometimes, people do it, then they close it, they can charge you anywhere between £100 to a couple £100, or maybe even more, depending obviously what law firm you're going to go to. What I am about to tell you, you might find very discouraging. But please, this information should not stop you from thinking or actually launching and trying a business, because most likely you will not succeed from the first time you start your business, maybe even not from the second time or third time. There are many successful founders that have tried so many different businesses until they actually have succeeded. So, this is some shocking facts. 20% of the businesses that are founded fail within the first year. 60% of the businesses then fail within the next 3 years. And 90% of businesses generally fail within 10 years. Why they fail? There's going to be another video where I will share some statistics, probably record another video with a presentation as well, and share a lot of data, because essentially, as I mentioned earlier, I help founders raise capital and launch their startup for those who are not in that stage of raising capital. And we do things a bit differently in our company. We use big data and AI, and again, I'm not trying to sell you anything, just want to share as much as possible valuable information on this channel and share my experience so that you can have all this information and hopefully be able to avoid the mistakes that founders make when they're launching their business. And if you are actually going back to the statistics, if you're thinking about launching a startup and raise funding, this is another shocking fact. Only less than 1% of founders actually manage to raise capital. But guys, not every business requires capital to start and run it. There are lots of businesses, primarily agencies or online businesses, that don't have very much any high sunk costs. So that's why it is kind of these days very popular. You will see lots of gurus out there on the internet who are telling you how to launch an online business. And actually, this is one of the least risky ways to start a business. Okay, so I will just walk you through the pretty much most common mistakes that founders make when they're thinking about starting a business. If you want to increase your chances of not failing, you should do things a bit differently, and I'm gonna show you on this side. Before you even thinking about your idea or what business is gonna do, you should ask yourself this really important question: why you want to start a business? And this is really pretty much one of the most important things, because this is the foundation of your business, and without strong foundations, you're gonna fail. Just like a house that is built on a weak foundation, if there is a strong wind or some other things happen, like an earthquake, maybe like a slight one, because obviously with a big earthquake, pretty much any building will collapse, and exactly for that reason, humans have developed the foundations in places where there is a risk for an earthquake, so that you still have a chance for the building not to collapse. That is why you want to start your business and build a foundation is super important. And when I mean why, some people might answer this question and say, because I want to be rich, or I want to make lots of money. And there is nothing wrong with it, actually. If this is your reason, then fine. Just make sure you set a figure in your mind, and probably you should set a high figure, because these foundations that you lay for your business would determine how strong and how ready you're gonna be when you are facing challenges, and you will face challenges. Nothing comes easy, especially when you are building a business. For some people, money obviously isn't important, and they want to do their business because of a social cause, or they want to make this world a better place. And this is also, beautiful. But don't forget that a business that doesn't generate money, essentially has a positive cash flow, isn't a business, it is a charity. So if you are not thinking about generating kind of revenue, then probably instead of starting a business, it's best to start a charity. So again, I want to give you an example of why figuring out this why is super important, and the foundations is you're gonna face challenges, as I said. You're gonna fall on the ground, and you're gonna get up and continue moving forward. And the more times you can fall down and get up and be ready, the more successful you're gonna be, because that's what it takes, persistence in any business. But also, one piece of advice for those who are already starting their business and trying to figure a way to make it work, sometimes because a founder hasn't done enough market research, they probably might be operating in a market that is just not good enough. And they end up wasting months or maybe even years trying to do something that they probably shouldn't spend their time on, because again, time is the most valuable resource we have. So after you figured out your why, you can then tick this box. Then the next thing that you should do before registering the company, opening a bank account, thinking of the name, is actually figuring out what market you want to operate, right? and research it as thoroughly as possible. Usually some people also gonna ask, how do I choose a market to operate? And again, there is no straight answer to that. I have clients who choose the market who are really passionate about, and they become successful. Or I have clients who just happen to be in the right place in the right moment, and they didn't go for their passion, they went for their competitive edge, which means they was good at something and there was right opportunity and they entered that market and bam, they started generating decent amount of money. So after you did the research, and the way you do it is obviously, one of your best friends is Google. You can check different reports that are published by consulting companies, check Deloitte and etc. They pretty much usually give you a lot of insights into the market and what problems that market has. After you did the research, the best thing you can do after that is actually go and speak to the stakeholders in this market and to understand what are the flaws in the value chain, right? Because people who live in that market, who work in that market, have the insights that you might don't know, or maybe you already have worked in this sort of market for a long time and you know ins and outs, how the market operates, and you can identify inefficiencies and actually then go and solve a problem for somebody. Because at the end of the day, that's what businesses do. They solve a problem. And in the business world, there's a jargon called pain points, right? Again, I'm not gonna go into many details in this video, but there would be a lot of content about how to identify pain points and what you can do about them. So let's hypothetically assume that you have identified again the market, you have talked to the participants to understand ins and outs of the market, and now you understand what problem out there. And what you as a business owner have to do next is to come up with a solution, right? And don't worry, your solution is not going to be perfect straight away. But again, the main reason so many businesses fail is that they don't do this. They think of an idea, they come up with a company name, they register, open a bank account, open a website, or build some products. That could be a digital product, or it can be even a physical product. And then they try and sell it and find out that, nobody actually wants it. Result, wasted time and money. And in the past, startups were raising a lot more money actually to fail because the cost to produce an MVP, a digital product, right? Let's say a SaaS software, was a lot more expensive. So let's go back to how you actually need to do it. After you have come up with your offer and the sort of the solution, the best thing that you need to go is go either to the same people that you have spoken before, who you wanted to get the insights. You go and try and explain to them how you want to solve their problem. And if they get a positive response, well done. If not, then you go back and you come up with a new hypothesis, with a new solution, with a new offer. And then you go and speak to them again until they say they're ready to pay, or maybe they can pay you right away, which is again amazing. And only after you have completed these tasks, 1, 2, research, validate, you then go and register the company and open a bank account to accept money. But again, having a bank account, for example, or having a company it's not a legal requirement to accept money for your business activities. You can still trade and receive money in your personal account, but obviously you don't want to do that for a long period of time so that you will confuse your personal finances with business finances. If you found this video valuable, subscribe and stay tuned. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the process how you can come up with a business idea, and if you, for example, don't have one. Bye for now.